Everyone, welcome back to another Tarkov video. I'm 8-Bit Trip, and my content is only going to be as good as the transitions in this video. So, what we're going to be doing today is talking about some squad tactics that I've been thinking up a lot with the buddies that I play with, and some of it's received positive by them, so I'm going to give that to you guys. Our tips today are going to include talking about objectives that we can make as a team, working together as a team, and striving to become better as a team, as well as a very important tool that we use to be able to get these things done. So, with all that being said, if you guys like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe as well as join the Discord in the description. And if you like to, you can also follow me on Twitch, which will also be in the description. And come and check me out on Mondays and Wednesdays. Appreciate it. And let's get into the video. All right, guys. So, first things first, what we're going to talk about with the squad tactics is definitely defining what your objectives are before you go into the map. The reason why this is important is because the question that always gets brought up is, what are we doing? What are we doing today, guys? What map are we going? Questions like that. So, the first thing that you can always look at to find out what you're going to be doing, especially as you're leveling up and trying to get more things unlocked, is your active tasks. These are things that individually you can work on together, or you can have your squad mates help you to get a task done. The reason why this is important is because if a couple people have, let's say, this task or that task that they need to do on customs, like killing PMCs inside the dorm area, meanwhile somebody else has to get 25 scav kills on customs with an AKS-74U, you guys can do that simultaneously. The other things, it's definitely that if I were going to be bringing an AKS-74U, that is definitely something that I would need. Hopefully, have my teammates bring maybe a mid to long range rifle to be able to support that kind of loadout and play style that I'm going to be doing. So the objectives that you guys can figure out really has a lot to do with using the Escape from Tarkov wiki, which I'll be going into later. But the reason why this is important is because if you guys are trying to decide what you are going to do, finding that out and making it clear, like we're going to go in. If we spawn on the side of Ollie on interchange, we're going to go and check the rafters at Ollie for the propane tank so I can get my spot tour task done with Peacekeeper. And then once we move on from that, all we need to do is survive, so my buddy here can get one more survival on his Ragman task called Sales Night, survive in the raid at interchange 7 times. If you want to make looting a part of that objective, then you guys can say, hey, our extract is going to most likely be over maybe by the railway exfil. So let's move through the map to go through generic, see if Kill is there, check out Kiba, and then make your way on out. These are all things that you guys can definitely look over before the raid actually starts, so you're not trying to just on the fly think it all up, and really just really just kind of fall apart once you guys get one thing done and you don't know what else to do. So taking some time, whether it's 5 or 15 minutes before the raid to really discuss what you're going to do, should definitely help you guys out whenever you guys get it into a spot where we're just walking around the map aimlessly until time's running out. And it's definitely like if I ever bring my buddies to resort, we go, and if we spawn on the side of the cottage, we go to cottage, check that, and resort is typically a loot run for us. So then we go to resort, loot the key rooms that we have, and then we extract. Hopefully run into PvP there, but most likely there's usually hatchlings. So that's how that goes. Yeah, so not only that, but being able to really define call outs and things like that, and reviewing, like for me, for instance, what can I bring to the table with having a computer that can record, is that if we die, instead of blaming and pointing fingers at each other, let's really review the footage and figure out what went wrong, what kind of call outs did we not successfully make, and what's wrong with our communication. And this really has to do a lot with improving as a team and working together as a team, which are the other points of this video. So improving as a team and working together, things that you can do. Really, it's however whatever manner you can. But the most important thing to me is taking personal responsibility first about your actions, and then discussing with your teammates what could have been done better for the next time. So if you ever consistently run into engagements at dorms and you don't know how to describe what the bushes are in the background, in the back next to the fence, which obviously like there's tons of bushes back there, but how could you be more specific? Maybe figure that out the next time before you go into raid or in between the next raid with your squad, so that communication can be a lot more clear and you can really capitalize on on a firefight. You know, if I had my AKS 74U and somebody else was doing the PMC kills, you know, the best thing I can do with that AK if is probably run a flank because I'm probably going to be a lot more mobile than whoever might have brought a sniper or maybe a M4 or something like that. So these are all things that, you know, communication is definitely key, as well as confidence in your actions. Definitely don't just start doing things without discussing it with your teammates, like taking shots on scavs and things like that, because you're going to raise a lot of questions, and that's not going to keep the communication line clear whenever you guys need to listen for footsteps that are, you know, 10 feet away from you. So, you know, improving as a team, working together. Really, I just got to say the most important thing is that if you guys are not successfully getting out of your raids, the best way to improve that is by looking over what went wrong, what was the communication like. You know, were we just jabbering out? I don't know, he's over there, and just things like that. Those are the things that we want to be able to improve on. So, and then the next time it comes up, you know, we know how to handle the situation together. It's not about me or I. You know, don't leave your team behind. If somebody's getting shot at, don't run away. Definitely be there. And one of the things that I always get whenever I kill squads is people that just sit still and don't do anything. You know, they'll hide in a corner until the guy peeks. Sometimes that works, but if I know you're in that corner, I'm pre-firing and you're gonna die before you see me, you know, or before you can even react. So definitely keep the movement up. Make sure that your teammates know where you're going and what you're doing while you're doing it. And really, I guess this is just all about communication as well as after the fact, figuring out what went wrong. So that's all I'm going to have on the objective making, improving as a team, and working together as a team. The next thing I'm going to show you is that tool, which is the Escape from Tarkov wiki, which I'm going to go in depth on how to use that to really get some of the information you need to make these things possible. So we're going to move into that right now. All right, guys, so the Escape from Tarkov wiki. I'm going to make this as quick as possible so you don't get bored, because I know that's what happens whenever people watch my videos. But all you have to do to get here is type into Google Escape from Tarkov wiki. It's going to bring you most likely to here. And what we're going to look at today are ways to be able to navigate this thing to figure out information about your gear, your ammo, the maps, as well as your quests and traders and their unlocks. We can look at that too, maybe. So first things first, the main thing I want to look up here, and we're going to search up here in the tab. We're going to go ammunition. And, whoa, ammunition. And with ammunition, we're going to go to a page on the Escape from Tarkov wiki that has every single round, pistol cartridges, rifle cartridges, and PDW cartridges. And from here, what we can now look at is if I click on, let's say, the 545 by 39, which a lot of people, for some reason, like to use the US ammo to try and get kills, which doesn't make sense. We're going to go to this page and we can find out what kind of damage and penetration power our rounds have. This is important because I see squads that get in firefights that will light me up with my Gen 4 on and just I'll eat 30 rounds and then one tap them in the face. Especially if they shoot at me without me knowing where they're at. And that stuff always makes me feel bad because whenever I unload their mag and I see they had US ammo, it raises a lot of questions of how, you know, I just want to be like, hey, let me help you, please. So ammunition is important because I see a lot of squads that run low gear stuff, especially with all the new players, And being able to find out this information on the Escape from Tarkov wiki, this is probably going to be the most accurate information that you can figure out. There's a lot of guides like No Food After Midnight or the Battle Buddy app by Veritas that kind of go more in depth with this stuff. But you can see here, and I think is kind of listed top to bottom, like Eagle Nick, hands down. If you want to be able to kill somebody that has a really high gear, this ammo is important because it's going to shred any type of armor somebody has. It doesn't have a lot of flesh damage, but 37 damage is enough to get a one-tap headshot. But if you want to be able to shred armor, this is going to be the round to do it. It's expensive, and making a gun based around what kind of ammo you're going to use is also very important. But that's the first step. The next thing we're going to talk about is the maps of Tarkov. So we're going to go to the map of Tarkov on the wiki, and this is an interactive map where you can pick up the maps. Where we're going to go specifically is going to be the shoreline map, just because for me describing this, this is going to be the easiest because this is my favorite map. So with the shoreline map, if we scroll down, what do you know? There's a whole bunch of interactive and really well-defined maps that kind of tell me where things are, where I can use certain keys, where I am, what kind of exfils and exits are to the map, and where I have to go to find them, and all sorts of things like that. So if I wanted to pull up one of these maps, or even better, and this has to go with working with your teammates, if my buddy has one of these maps pulled up on a dual monitor setup, which I highly recommend you do, give somebody that cartographer role in your squad, we can figure out where we're always at on the map, and definitely make these callouts a lot better. So if I'm over by cottages and somebody's over at construction, I can now communicate that with my buddies. What's around you? Well, there's a bunch of blue fences, and I see a couple houses. Okay, you're over at construction. We're over at the fence next to cottages. Don't shoot us. Yada yadas. As well as inside West Wing and East Wing. Another map here that we had on the Shoreline wiki tells us all the keys that I can find on Shoreline. So if I want to know where the red key cards are in the West Wing, or if I want to know where the red key card is on the East Wing, this is going to tell me where that's at. And this can hopefully make your objective making a lot easier, so you can figure out what kind of loot runs you want to do, and where the most important parts of the map are going to be, where the most PMCs are, and everything like that. The last thing we're going to talk about here are the quests. So if we go to quests, we can scroll down, and we're going to have a list of quests for every single trader here. I'm going to specifically go to, let's say, mechanic, and we're going to pick out, let's say I am on Signal Part 1. And if I go here, it's going to tell me all the requirements for the tasks, the objectives, what do I get for these tasks, as well as a guide for getting the task done. And then below, that somebody made a map that circles and outlines on the shoreline map where these objectives are going to be found at, as well as a couple of screenshots here telling me where I have to place a couple of what are those things called? Well, actually, in this one, you actually just have to find the antennas. There's the next part of this task where you have to place markers on it, or signal disruptors. So this is really it, guys. Using the Wikipedia to figure out all this information out, especially before you go into raid, this is going to be super helpful for you guys making that objectives, making those task lines that you want to get done, and working together and getting communication up to peak gamer levels. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.